Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. It's your friendly neighborhood PM here to give you your top 3 market points of the week yet again. Now, we have had a variety of things happen this week. We've had macro data points. We've had earnings reports. So let's cut straight to the chase and get you started in your top 3 points. Coming in at number 3, it was the Fed leaving rates unchanged this month. Now, there has been some hopes that the Fed would start cutting rates, but Chairman Powell did come out in his presser and take a bit more of a hawkish tone, if you will, because he has continued to point towards uncertainty when it comes around to this entire new tariff trade policy that is undergoing and what the underlying impacts are going to be on the economy as a result of that. So the Fed has chosen instead to stay pat and continue to digest the data as it goes forward. They don't want to let the economy see a reacceleration of inflation. So rather than cutting rates too early, they'd rather wait and make a prudent decision. Now, that is probably going to drive the ire of the administration. As you've probably heard, they continue to tell the Fed and specifically Chairman Powell to cut rates. But at least for this month, they are not going to be cutting. Now, with his tone, he didn't shut the door on a cut in September, but it did seem like he was trying to temper expectations a little bit. So as the data progresses and comes through in the coming month, we're going to keep you posted here as well. At point number 2, it was big tech earnings. We had pretty much solid and very, very strong guidance from a lot of the mega cap hyperscale tech companies, namely Microsoft, Apple, Meta, all crushing on earnings for this past quarter and raising their guidance going forward. We saw Apple have stronger growth in China. Microsoft and their Azure cloud segment continue to grow. And then Meta also continuing to spend on their AI infrastructure. And the market really loved that yesterday and into this morning as Apple is going to continue to rally as the market opens. However, this was not nearly enough to boost the overall market. Even after Microsoft and Meta posted record-setting gains, the overall market was down to flat yesterday. And coming into Friday, it's not looking too much better. And that is going to lead us into point number 1. Point number 1 is that the administration came out with new reciprocal tariff levels. So yet again, we continue to kind of get whipshawed by these new tariff levels. The administration did come out Thursday night and announced reciprocal tariffs across a variety of countries. And this new tariff level does raise the average tariff level across our trading partners to around 15%. That's up from the 13% earlier in the year. So that rate continues to go up, with some countries getting hit more than others, like Canada and Mexico, as well as Japan is now at that 15% rate, and so is South Korea. Now, all other countries, however, do have to now deal with a baseline 10% tariff. So, unfortunately, the tariff news is not dissipating anytime soon, and we're going to continue to watch to see if those impacts really do filter into underlying prices for the consumer, which, based on economic history, they should. But as those impacts manifest, we're going to keep you posted here as always. Now, that does it for our top 3 points this week. What are we checking out for next week? Well, next week, it is going to be kind of revolving around trade policy as well. We're going to keep an eye on imports and exports and kind of see how our trade deficit fluctuated in the past month and whether or not these tariff levels have had an impact yet, or we're still waiting for them to manifest. Now, as always, that does it for this week's video. But if you have additional questions, please reach out to your financial advisor. And if you don't have one, please follow our link below and we'll get you connected to somebody. But otherwise, like I always say, please go out, enjoy your weekend, and we will see you the same time next week. Thanks again.